There's no such thing as an overnight success. I used to think that people who are successful are either very lucky, privileged, or one day they wake up, a miracle happened, and then whatever they were doing became an instant success. So I was waiting for that moment, for that miracle for years. I was waiting for the shit that I'm living with to turn to diamonds and gold. But after years went by, my life still hasn't changed. And I realized that it's not going to happen to me at all. So at some point I gave up. I thought my life is going to be like this forever. I thought I'll never be happy. I thought my life will never be successful. But then a friend of mine told me that if I want to be successful, the goal is not to have an overnight success because it will not happen. The goal is to be successful in time. And that changed my perspective because I learned the hard way that waiting will never bring me an overnight success. There will never be a miracle that is going to happen for me. So I started to change my life because if I don't change my life will never change. The shit that I'm living with will always be shit. It will never turn to diamonds and gold because I'm not doing anything different. So, what I learned is that the difference between people who manage to change their life and the people who stay the same all their lives is that when things get hard, they don't quit. When things get hard, they learn and grow through it. And that's where the miracle happens. The miracle happens when they don't give up. The miracle happens when they try to find their way through the hard times so that they could grow. And when things get hard, most people quit, but not you, because when things get hard, you keep going. And that's when I start to see that there will never be an overnight success. And it has always been the relentless effort that I did behind the scenes, that I did when other people are sleeping, that I've done when other people are, I don't know, watching Netflix or whatever, and I'm doing the work. When nobody is looking at what you're doing, when nobody cares about what you do, when nobody works as hard as you, that's the actual miracle that's happening behind the scenes that we will never see because all we see is one day someone lives a normal life and then the next day they turn into an overnight success. But what we didn't see is the things that happens behind the scenes. So you will never have an overnight success, but you will be successful in time if you start to change yourself. Hope you find this insightful. Remember, it's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible.